Hey everybody, thanks for coming to dance with me. I'm Laura, and today we're going to talk about the Tranky Doo. For me, the Tranky Doo is like a mystery wrapped in an enigma. It's a vintage routine that a lot of people do all the time, but as far as what the true historical version of the Tranky Doo is actually surprisingly hard to pin down. There are so many things that are frequently done with the Tranky Doo today that I can't find any historical reason for. Now we're going to talk about some of those discrepancies, but I want to say that the dance we do today is not the dance that was done back in the day, and that's not necessarily bad. The Tranky Doo is a great example of this. The Tranky Doo we do today is not the same as the Tranky Doo that was done, but that doesn't mean that the Doo we do today should not be done. The choreographer himself, Frankie Manning, said, "I don't mind if people change my choreography as long as they stay in the same groove." In my opinion, that's what's kept the Lindy Hop going all these years. In this video, you're going to be learning the Tranky Doo choreography, or at least something that can be called the Tranky Doo choreography, a little bit of history, some significant differences between the different versions, and some hot, inspiring variations from the vintage dancers. This routine builds on vintage vocabulary, so it's going to be a lot easier to learn if you already know Applejacks, Rocks, Shorty George, Susie Q, Lock Turn, Eagle Slide, Chase. If you're looking for some resources on those, I have some tutorials linked in the description. All right, let's get into it. We're going to build up the Tranky Doo through what I consider its component parts, and then we're going to take some time to highlight some significant differences. If you're having trouble, don't worry about it. Just count along with the song so you can see when the different movements happen. Here we go. That's the first section. All right, let's take a water break and talk about some history. The original Tranky Doo is 2 choruses long, and it was meant to be a nice medium tempo routine. It was choreographed in the early to mid 40s by Frankie Manning for the Congaroos, a group that he was a part of, for a show that the Congaroos were doing, Smart Affairs. Now, they weren't the stars of the show, but they always closed the show, and they tore down the house every single time. As the legend goes, encore after encore. The Tranky Doo was frequently used as an encore. Back in the day, chorus girls would do their fantastic numbers and then they would start exiting the stage. And while they were exiting the stage, one of the very best dancers would hang behind and do some kind of shine step. This dance is named after one of those chorus girls, the Tranky Doo, and this was her signature step. You'll see it in the first phrase of this routine. As an aside, it is crazy how influential chorus girls are to our vernacular jazz movement today. If you have the time, look up as many different chorus girl numbers as you can. You will learn some stuff. Of course, the members of the Congaroos were some of the original Savoy dancers. Savoy, the home of Happy Feet and where Lindy Hop was invented. And so when they went back and danced at the Savoy, they would do the Tranky Doo there. The rest of the crowd caught on, and so that's how a lot of people learned the Tranky Doo. So that's some history about the original Tranky Doo. But how did that do become the do we do today? Mystery wrapped in an enigma. Smart Affairs was a live show, so it was not recorded. And so what we have are different recordings of that piece that were done later. And they don't all match. The earliest video footage of the Tranky Doo is done by Thomas Topsley and Wilda Crawford in their amazing dance number in the 1946 Love and Syncopation. And in that number, they are dancing the Tranky Doo to Broadway. Most of the choreography we know today was taken from The Spirit Moves, which is a documentary made by Murray Den documenting African American dance from 1900 to 1986. That's quite a span. It was filmed in the 1950s, and it has Al Minns, Pepsi Bethel, and Leon James, and it is a masterclass in individuality. Even though they're all doing the same choreography, there is so much variety, and the overlap to me between variation and what the move actually is gets pretty blurry. Pepsi is frequently thought of as the one leading the routine because Al and Leon seem to furtively look at his feet some of the times, but that doesn't necessarily mean that his version is the true version, and it also takes away his ability to have changed any of it with his own style. Mystery wrapped in an enigma. The Spirit Moves version of the Tranky Doo is done to Ella Fitzgerald's Dipsy Doodle, which is why we dance it to that song today. But I would argue that that makes no sense because structurally speaking, it doesn't line up with the traditional AABA format of this choreography. When Frankie Manning would teach the Tranky Doo, he would teach it to Tuxedo Junction, which does line up.
Additionally, we don't know that the dancers actually danced to the Dipsy Doodle. All the music in the Spirit Moves was dubbed in, meaning song structure and BPM frequently don't line up. So anyone breaking down the choreography has to do a lot of educated guesswork.
However, nowadays, if you hear Ella Fitzgerald Dipsy Doodle, don't even bother getting a partner. We're all going to do the Tranky Doo. It's the way it is, and that's kind of how culture works. You do something for a long enough period of time, and it's just part of the culture. Now let's take a moment to break down that first phrase, the Tranky Doo, named after the chorus girl. In my experience, people like having a little bit extra time with that section. Count out loud. Here we go. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and 7. Oh. Now let's talk about a few differences. One, that rhythm after the fall off the log, ba-bum, ba-bum. It's most common to take that to the left, but in the Spirit Moves version, Al and Leon take it straight. And it looks hot. So don't feel like you have to take it to the left. You can do so much with this routine. And 2, those claps that people do on the second phrase, I cannot find a vintage version of anybody doing those claps. Where did they come from? Why do people do them now? It doesn't mean that it's wrong, it's just another example of how mysterious this routine is. So don't feel like you have to do the claps. Dancing is about experimenting and finding out what you like best. All right, for the next part of the routine, the dancers split off and do 2 different parts. Doesn't matter which one you do, unless you're in a performance and you've coordinated with the other dancers, but here are both parts. Do whichever one you like best.
from the Applejacks.
Everyone except for like 2 people do the version with the drunken sailor going forward immediately. You don't worry about them. You do you. Okay, let's get into the next part of the choreography. Now for Dorkton's sake, let's take a moment to appreciate the significant stylistic differences between the 2 turns. It's really common to do a basic lock turn, kind of what Pepsi does. I do that all the time. But check out this sassy thing that Al Minns does. what is the purpose? Was it an accident? He is kind of looking over his shoulder at Pepsi, so maybe this was unintentional, but dang, how hot is that? And that is one of the wonderful things that I love about choreography. Just turn at the right time and the right direction, and then you do you after that. Do that jump jump on 5, 7, bring everybody back together again. That's jazz, baby. Now at this point in the choreography, there is a drastic departure between the Tops and Wilder version and the Spirit Moves version, and nobody does the Tops and Wilder version, and it is so hot. So if you want a challenge, lift that version, teach your friends, do a video, and show me. I wanna see. Moving on to the next bit, they're all basic moves just strung together, so you just need to memorize the order, one after the other. It goes mess around, or whatever you want, chase, eagle slide with a turn, boogie drop, mess around, chase, eagle slide, boogie drop, mess around, chase, eagle slide, boogie drop, mess around, chase, eagle slide, boogie drop. You got it. The eagle slide with the turn is a little bit more complicated, so we're gonna go into that specifically. Okay, let's do all of that several times from the mess around. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna stop us right there. This next part is super controversial territory. Bum, bum, bum! Because there are a bunch of different versions that are still done today. In my experience, the scene at large starts the Mambos on count 1. So it looks like this. Pretty sure on the Spirit Moves version, the Mambos are on 2, so it looks like this. There's also a really great version that I've seen that has Mambo starting on 3, so it looks like this. Case, no matter which one you're doing, there's a chase with a kick on 2 that brings us all back together again. we're going to be doing the Mambos on count 2. 1, because I think it's harder and it's going to push you more as a dancer. Plus, if you see everybody else mamboing on 1, it's very easy to switch. And 2, because I think this is what's actually done in the Spirit Moves version. So this is as close to accurate as I can get.
5, 7, 8, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, a 1, 2.
What an inconvenient time for a camera change, and it does not help that the music doesn't line up at all. That's why it's good to count out loud.
In the Thompson Wilder version, even though this part of the choreography is different, when they do Mambos, they're on the evens.
Okay, let's start with that eagle slide. We're going to transition into boogie drops and work on that transition into the Mambos on 2. Into that last part. 2 weights of Mambos. Paddle it around. Transition into a chase variation. Take that into truckin'. Back it up again. During that move it backward part and the trucks and the move it backward part again, people traditionally lock arms with each other. That is something that my sisters and I cannot do. So just know that's what people do, and we're not gonna do it.
Start with Mambos, here we go.
So now we're going to put it all together. Let's think about what that stuff is. Chorus 1. Phrase 1, the Tranky Doo, named after the chorus girl, fall off the log sequence. Phrase 2, that foot forward thing. Phrase 3, Applejacks into rocks into that breakup part. Phrase 4, that breakup part. Chorus 2. Phrase 1, knee slap phrase. Phrase 2, mess around phrase. Phrase 3, Mambos. Phrase 4, truckin' and out. All right, you got all of that? If you don't worry about it. Just keep practicing and you'll get it. Now, before we move on, thank you people of Patreon for helping to support me and making this content free for everyone in the world, including people like you. It's a voluntary subscription, and if you want to help out, the link's in the description. All right, let's keep it moving. Now let's do the whole thing all together. Now I've done something a little bit mean, and every version of me is styling the routine slightly differently. Don't worry, it's not crazy, but I've done this for 2 reasons. 1, the Tranky Doo itself is styled so many different ways, mystery and an enigma, and I find that so inspirational to my own ability to perform that dance. And 2, one of the important parts of doing choreography is not getting distracted by the craziness all around you. Here we go. have it. That's basically the whole thing. The choreography that comes after this is super repetitive. You walk around, you do a million box steps, you do shouts, you do knee slaps, and then you start the choreography over again from the top. It's super easy to look around and just follow what everybody else is doing. Do you have questions about the Tranky Doo? Do you know history about the Tranky Doo? If so, leave a comment. I love to learn. There are so many more interesting dorky things about the Tranky Doo that we did not have time for in this video. If you want to hear about them, leave a comment. Maybe I'll make another video just dedicated to the dorkdom.
And there we go. That's the Tranky Doo that we Tranky did, and now it's Tranky done. I hope you had fun and learned a lot. If you did, hit like and subscribe. It's one of the best ways to support the channel. If you enjoy the music, it's by the Brooks Puma Orchestra, and you can find where to buy it in the description. And half the money I get from this channel goes towards organizations that support African diasporic artists and art, because Lindy Hoppers is a black dance, and that's important to its identity. And of course, the best way to learn how to dance is to dance.